14th
Thank you, sir.
Board of Equalization to order. Roll call. Mr. Brett.
Here.
Miss Eleanor.
Here.
And I'm here. So we got a full board today. First item is discussion, possible action regarding approval of the minutes of March 3rd and 6th. Do I have a motion?
Move to accept the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. First property for the board is BOE number 10. Mr. Lloyd at 23040 Lauren Lane in Edmond. Is Mr. Lloyd here?
He is going to be joining us by phone, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
dialing him right now.
Alright, that's gonna be a phone.
Yeah, good morning, it's Rick.
Hello, is this Richard Lloyd?
Yeah, this is Rick Lloyd. But yeah, I'm the same guy.
Alright, this is Patrick Crawley. I'm chairman of the Board of Equalization. We have your property has come up on the agenda. And have you done this before?
I have. I'm actually a licensed real estate broker and have represented many before. I've just never done my own, actually.
Okay, well, let's just march out there. Tell us what you want us to know about this property.
So I think that there's, a few things. So can I give you at least a little bit of an introduction? Is that I'm a licensed real estate broker, and I started at a time when the market wasn't so robust, and in order to side money, I actually did broker price opinions. Are you familiar with those?
No, I don't recognize that term anyway.
Or BPOs.
All
And
right.
anyway, what is that ultimately when banks have foreclosures, they come to a broker that largely has background in finance and accounting to come up with a price estimate. And so they actually reconcile that normally with a normal automated model when they determine how to list a foreclosure in the system. And if you're a real estate broker and times are lean, you normally take on that work. And I did that at the beginning of my career and did about, somewhere between 180 and 200 of those broker price opinions, extra money when times were slower. And I actually train new agents on how to do broker price opinions. So ultimately, they're a quick and dirty version of an appraisal on a property. So
Okay.
having said that, I put in my introductory letter, and I'm not sure if you're able to read it, but I bought the house after the house was listed on the MLS, but ultimately I bought it at a foreclosure auction. And there were 4 bidders there, and ultimately we won the afterwards, and are slated to move into the property, but ultimately going to require a significant amount of work. And so ultimately what I did is I provided a summary. If you look to what I submitted to the spreadsheet, I don't know if the group has it. I don't know how many board members.
Yeah,
But can you
we
see
have,
it?
we have everything that was presented at the
Okay.
informal.
Okay, but this wasn't at the informal. This was actually to schedule this appointment.
Okay, stop it.
Okay, well,
So do you have the page where it says value models as of February 23rd?
yeah, what you need to understand is this is an appeal from the informal hearing. And because it's an appeal from the informal hearing, the only evidence we take into consideration is that was presented at the informal.
Okay.
So if you're telling me this was not presented then and it was afterwards, well, you're not actually in an appeal. You're trying to come to us as a,
Primary venue, I understand.
yeah,
what you're saying.
the finder of fact, in the first place, so.
So, but prior to my appeal, or I was not provided any of the comp information that the county assessor used for Mr. Slepko.
Okay, well, we'll talk to the assessor about that, the way we do this is we'll listen to what you want to tell us about this property, and then we'll hear from the assessor, and then you can respond, okay?
Sounds good. So my summary would be, is according to my real estate broker tools, ultimately the value of the house came out through averaging several different methods, including audit models that are currently available, the cost to cure, which was the repair cost of the house. In addition, recent comparison sales came out to a value of $865,000, $851 is what I came up with the valuation using broker price opinion tools as a real estate broker.
Okay,
So conversely, and I can wait for the assessor's office to speak, based on the information that was eventually to me from them, they highlighted that A, they didn't actually have access to the Oklahoma City class to look at the listings, and B, the comps that they provided were all, with the exception of two of them, older than 3 or between 2 and 3 years old. They represent comparable sales. And at least from a commercial appraisal perspective and a real estate broker price opinion perspective, none of those are to actually valuing my house. Those are just ultimately old sales that they've adjusted to bring to somehow estimate the value of my house. Those are not current comps. They're old. They don't represent the current market.
Let me interrupt you. What did you say? I missed a word. You said that the assessor did not have access to Oklahoma City Glass?
MLS.
Net listing service.
Oh,
MLS.
okay.
MLS.
MLS, okay.
Are you guys Oklahoma City MLS members?
You guys?
You mean the board?
No.
You need to understand that we, the three of us sit as a board, that, is going to listen to this appeal.
Sure.
And it really doesn't matter to us whether anybody's MLS or whatever. I doubt that they are. We don't get, we sit on this board as more or less a, what do you call that?
Well, we're a statutory board. There are three of us.
Well, what I was saying though is that most assessors' offices have access to MLS sales data. For
Okay.
some reason, the Oklahoma County one does not.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, so, okay. Is there anything else you want to tell us about this property before we hear from the assessor?
Probably the only thing is that the only current property that they provided was my next door neighbor at 23020 Lauren Lane, and I actually agreed with that comp prop. However, there's an additional property at 222901 Lauren Lane that is a luxury Street of Dreams property that I do not believe is applicable to mine given the size and the quality of construction. And I provided those contrasting photos in my submission.
Okay.
So that's all I have. I think my big thing is that I used several models. I averaged them to get a value of $865,000, and ultimately the value that came up from the assessor's office was $960,000. And that value came from essentially that were largely between 2 and 3 years old that weren't representative of the current market. That's my summary.
Okay, so you're asking us to set the value at $865,000.
$851.
Eight what?
851. 865,
Yeah.
851.
Oh, I got you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. We'll hear from the assessor.
Okay, so
First, let me ask you, you've been talking about you don't have access to the MLS.
we do have access to MLS listings anytime there is a sale. So we can, our sales team will look online anytime there is a sale. And we do have access to an MLS listing. I'm actually going to show that to you right now. I'm sorry. Here's an MLS listing on Realtor.com. And I've also got pictures of the inside of the home stating that there's been improvements that have been made to it.
Oh, okay.
And if the board would like to see some of those pictures, would you like to see some of those pictures?
Give me this, first give me the square footage.
Yes, ma'am. The square footage we have listed is 5,333 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how many car garage? Looks like two.
Yeah, 2-car
If
garage.
it's a 4-car garage.
4-car garage. Okay.
And a lot, is it on an acreage or just?
Yeah, let me get you. Yeah, we have them on 2.97 acres. Here is the map. Here's his property right here. And if you want the biggest cross, you got Sorghum Mill and Northwestern Avenue.
Okay, way up there.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the subdivision's name?
We currently have the subdivision as Creekside Estates.
Creekside Estate, okay.
And I also want to advise the board that he has been to the board before on other properties and that he's kicked butt every time. So that's, we want to highlight that very much so.
What do you mean you kick butt every time?
That's what he said on previous accounts that he's appealed, that he's kicked the board's butt every time. So we felt that was important to provide in there as well. We had the original value at $1,009,000.
Yes.
We lowered it based on the comps that we did run and we did provide to the homeowner or to the owner, and we thought, okay, based on the comparables, that it was too high, so we lowered it to $960,000. He originally requested a value of $810,906, which including in that is he wants to be reimbursed based on the almost $184,000 worth of repairs that he's already done to the house. And he provide, detailed receipts and descriptions of everything that went into these repairs, which includes several different restaurant stops to eat and stuff like that. So those are all included in the value of wanting him to get reimbursed for. So, and if you want to see those receipts, do you want to see those receipts by chance?
No.
Okay.
Who's going to reimburse him?
Oh, that's
No, I provided my IRS tax records to them of what I invested in the project, and those were my travel expenses from where I currently live in Oregon.
Oh, I understand, okay.
But and this was a sheriff sale, so it was an invalid.
With MLS.
You need to let him finish.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We can't hear both of you at the same time.
So this was an
No,
invalid
no
arm's
problem.
length transaction. It's a sheriff sale, so we don't recognize that as being valid at all. So But yeah, he provided, detailed information, but the house has been updated. It looks very immaculate on the inside, and its value, like I said, we valued it based on recent sales, but even the comps that we provided still lowered them to $960,000. And that's the best we can do.
Can you show us the location of the comps
Yes, let me do that for you.
and then proximity values?
It's in black and white, but here's the subject. And then you've got
Yeah.
right here, and then you got one further down here. So they're all within close range.
Yeah, it's 23020 Lauren Lane. What is that, 2 or 3 doors down, or what?
Next door.
Next door, okay. And it appears that the value of that house is $1,096,000.
On 23020.
Yes.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, so that's the, and see, that's the thing is that sold at the very beginning of January of 22. So, like I said, what we also factor in, what he may not factor in, is that when you adjust to get his property to be just like this property, we've got to account for 11 more months of market trend. And when you make all those adjustments, and we come out to having a sale adjusted value of $1,096,327. And if we use just 2 of these comps, which is 23020 Lauren Lane and 22901 Lauren Lane, which are even the 2 best comps, we can support a value of $1,043,665. But we decided to go bigger and do more comps, and we actually show that, hey, even though we could support him at where he's at, we decided to lower him based on the comps that we pulled.
Okay. I've been on this board for some time. I don't ever remember getting my butt kicked, so. But, I'm not saying it can't happen, but all right. Did you hear everything the assessor said, Mr. Lloyd?
I did.
Okay. You have anything to, he says,
Yeah,
he says the inside of your house has been, remodeled and,
That is true. I spent almost $200,000 to repair it, but I bought the house for $607,000. He left that part out.
No, we have that, but when you're talking about not an arm's length transaction, I'm not starting with your 627.
yeah.
Okay, so let's
See, we have all
May I
that
talk
evidence
about-
in front of us, but a sheriff's sale is not an arm's length transaction, for, at least for us to consider following the statutes.
Well, the only parts that I would add to that is that ultimately that was at the height of the market, and there were bidders on that auction after being listed on the MLS.
For what?
So may I
Whoa, whoa,
actually
whoa, whoa.
talk about?
What was the MLS listing value?
I'm not sure, how much was the MLS listing for?
Well, you just mentioned it.
Oh, the house was listed at like, $795,000.
Okay, so look on your theory, if you had made no improvements,
Yeah.
you'd be asking for $627,000.
The house didn't sell on the MLS. The house sold at auction because of it fell out because of condition problems.
You know what? I'm intelligent enough to remember that. So let me ask you the question again.
Yes, ma'am.
You took 627. You
Yes.
added your investment and you got up to 865. If you
No, I 832 is my current all-in.
Thank you. Had you not done that, would you be asking us to value this at 627? That's my question.
So if I hadn't put any money in it,
Yes.
likely, because the house wouldn't qualify for financing then.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
And so you're asking us to say fair market value at a sheriff's sale is
No,
that's what you
No,
just,
no,
that
ma'am.
is exactly what you just said.
okay, so
That's
what I'm saying
whoa,
is that is,
I asked you, if you had put no money in it, would you be wanting us to have the value at 627? And you said yes.
yes,
And my response to you is, you would ask us to accept a fair market value at a distress sale. Okay.
okay, but what I'm saying is that in the model in which I asked, that was only one of three factors that I averaged together, including the commercial valuation models. That's the cost to cure as well as the comparison sales.
Okay.
And so all of those three were averaged together.
Okay.
All right, we're looking at the pictures right now of the inside of this house, which is quite impressive. But you've kind of been all over the place according to my notes here. What value are you asking us to set today?
I'm asking for you to set the value of the house, $165,851.
$165,000.
$860.
$860.
Yes, sir.
And 51
So-
cents.
No,
It's
851.
11 cents, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
So-
What else you got?
I had a
So
question.
Wait, we have a
Can I-
question. No, we have a
Wait.
question.
Just one sec. This is on the MLS or Realtor.com. It looks like for sale. Is it on? Is that why it's been posted on here? Is it because it is for sale or?
No, it's not for sale. I have
Okay.
rent until I move.
Okay.
You have what?
Renters.
Renters.
Okay. Gotcha.
What's the rent they're charging?
$49.99.
Okay.
So I wanted to go back to some of the comments made though by the assessor's office on the comp properties.
Okay.
So wanted to make a point about a couple things, and then I'll shut up. And the first one is regarding 23020 Lauren Lane, which is my next door neighbor
Okay.
that was referenced earlier, and it was sold on January 21st, 2022.
Right.
So that house sold on the open market for $753,500.
Okay.
And according to the assessor's office that he just said earlier, that house is now worth $1,096,327. Is that what he's saying?
Yes. That's the adjusted.
Okay.
That's the adjusted value.
After one year, it went up 25%.
Oh, last year was quite robust.
But it was only about 9% for the rest of the market. So that's my first one. And the second one is that Mr. Slesco talked about adding comps. If you look at his,
Mr.
that are,
Who?
He's one of our appraisers.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
if you look at his comps, 5 and 6, they're from 20 and 2019. Look at his comp number 3, it's from 2019.
Okay.
I am not aware of any commercial appraisal company that will accept comps that are almost 3 to 4 years old for valuing a property. How are these applicable to the current market?
Well, that's a question for the assessor.
So what we do is we can go back and do a 4-year sample cycle. We can't go anything back before that. When there's not enough sales in 22 within that area, we can go back farther and we're still going to adjust for the value from when it's sold to what it is as of January 1st of this year. So when there are not enough sales in 22 or maybe even 21, in order for us to get to where we want to get to support a value, we can go back 4 years. So in this case, we can go back to 2019. But we try not to go
But
back.
that doesn't, okay. I understand where you're coming from, but at least in the commercial appraisal world, you can't go back 3 or 4 years and say.
But this is residential. This isn't commercial.
Or even in residential.
Well, I'm
Says
not,
who? Says who?
At least for a conforming mortgage from Mac or Jenny Mae, you can't use comps that are longer than a year without special approval.
well, this isn't Jenny Mae. This is the Oklahoma County Assessor's Office.
No, I know, but I'm just saying is that at least in commercial terms,
Well,
you can't use those as viable comps. They're too old.
Are you using the word commercial as in commercial property or commercial as in
No.
commerce?
As in commerce.
Okay.
But you need to give a basis. You know, like there are standards and there are trade associations. If you can give me that, otherwise I appreciate you not using the word cannot. You can.
Okay.
I mean,
Maybe you may not or should not, but you can.
So my piece here though is that going back to the first comp at 2303 Lauren Lane, ultimately the sale is approximately a year old, and according to the assessor's office, the value of that property, and I went up if I figured correctly, almost 30%.
Do you know whether there were any restrictions on that property?
I mean, I looked at buying that property.
That was not my question.
I don't know if there's any restrictions. It was listed on the normal MLS and so on the market.
Okay, so do you know if there was homestead exemption? Do you know if there was a senior cap? Do you know any of that?
Yes, of course.
Okay, you do.
No, yes. Yeah, but I'm not talking about the tax. I'm talking about the sales price and what the assessor's office currently evaluates it or values that based on their adjusted sales value. According to them, it went up almost 30% this year.
And that never happened on any property?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Can I ask a question of the assessor? Why, do you know of any reason why that, from that sales point to your assessment, why there would be such a gap of 30%?
it's just a hot area, and that particular area is seeing, such a, robust increase in value. And like I said, when we factor in the adjustments, and we can go off a raw sales price,
Right.
but that means that all the other properties are going to be exactly like his.
Right.
And we can't, that's just something that we can't do.
I mean, we've seen in the last just 2 weeks, we've seen a lot of properties that are
Right.
17 to 25+%.
Right. And he mentions too that, yeah, we are right. We do have some sales that are going back to 19, but if he wants, we can use comp 1 and comp 4, which are 22 sales, but that'll increase his value even more than what he's asking for. So with us using the 6 that we're using, we're still giving him a nice gift of lowering him down to 960.
Right. I feel like there's more validity in your ability to use homes in the neighborhood and adjust those than there is to reach out and do something 2 or 3 miles away for a comp.
Correct.
And Mr. Lloyd, you need to understand that the assessor's office, when they value these homes, it doesn't matter to us. We make the final decision on what fair market value is. but I do understand what the assessor is doing. They have to try and make everything equal across the whole county, not saying, you know, the dilapidated areas get a boost up. It's just, it's a process that has to be equal for the same kind of property. That make sense?
No, I mean, it does make, I don't believe that the real market value went up 30% over a year for my neighbor's house. It doesn't, that dog doesn't smell right. It seems like the model is not real.
I understand. And they're actually, they reduced the assessment that they came up with to $960,000. Now, we're not stuck with deciding whether it's 960,000 or 865,000 plus. We make the determination of where the market value is, and it may be more than the assessor, it may be less than what you're asking, or maybe the same, we don't know. We'll have to pour through all this. So, you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, not at all. I mean, I appreciate the job that you're doing, and actually, 9 times out of 10, I haven't had heartburn with the assessor, but I think that their model is more arbitrary and made up and is not based on real sales data. And so ultimately, I took an average of 3 different models, and that's what I was asking the board to approve.
Okay, you're asking for 865,000 plus a bit, and the assessor's saying 960. All right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right. Nothing else you want to add, number 10? Are you
No, that's
on
it.
this property? Assessor, you have anything? Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and close the hearing on BOE number 10 at 23040 Lauren Lane. And we'll now,
We're gonna hang up with you, but you,
Yeah.
we are gonna meet and set the value on Thursday, and you will receive our decision by mail. You're in Oregon, so you might get it Saturday or you might get it Monday.
No problem. Good morning.
All right, good
all
morning.
right, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna thank you for doing that.
That's okay. We're good.
Just abruptly say, you know, you're done. All right, I'll open up the hearing on BOE number 1, which is at 16716 Little Leaf Lane. The owner is Terrence Chapman. Mr. Chapman here?
I am.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Where would you like me to sit?
That's perfect. Have you been up here before?
I have not. I have never
Okay,
done this.
we're pretty informal, you probably picked up on that.
You are very informal.
But we're,
So very easy.
yeah, we're locked into the statutes, so we have to follow that, but,
Rule of law.
that's right. Okay, your property's at, on Little Leaf Lane in Edmond. Where exactly is Little Leaf Lane?
164th and May,
Rose
Ah.
Creek.
Okay,
Rose Creek.
what is the name of it?
Rose Creek.
Rose Creek, okay. What would you like for us to know about your property?
Tell me what information you have. I was confused from the first one when you commented. The extra information I sent you, do they have that or is that separated?
So yeah, so any information that you provide us, we'll give to them. Now, what they do consider, my understanding, is as long as that same information was what was used in your informal hearing.
Okay.
So, but I presented them with everything that you did give me. As far as if it was presented at the informal or not, though, that's gonna affect whether it's considered,
So the only thing I knew to do in the informal hearing, because we're presented with just the assessed value, you make an informal request and write down what you can, but again, you don't know the comps that they're using, so you can't comment to that until after that informal. They did send me that information, so I was able to look at it. I initially indicated that they valued my home at $228 a square foot, $660,000. In the informal, when it was completed, they valued my home at $218 a square foot, $630,000. And I had commented in my original informal protest that seemed like an unreasonable number. Nothing in my area is selling above $200 a square foot. Now, Rose Creek is an interesting subdivision. There's pockets of Rose Creek that are much more highly valued. I mean, you gotta look at the pockets, and so I'm in what's called the villas area. And you need to, if you're gonna look at comps, you need to try to start with villa comps if you have. They use 3 comps within villa. They use 3 comps outside the villa area. If you can pull up the map of the, so may I walk up to that? It would be easier for me to just walk up to the map
Sure.
and show you. May I do so?
He could actually show you a map with the comps on it.
Yeah, oh, that'd be
to.
great.
Okay.
That'd even be easier, because then I can just point to them directly. Yeah, your report to me was very easy to read. So I know, let me go back and I'll point to, I know these 3, so let's go back and to the other map. It'll be easier for them to see. I didn't realize it didn't come out so well. So they used 2 here along Ragosa. The villas area is this area here. So they did use the Ragosa, although in villas, there's a Little Leaf Lane villa section here that, again, if you can comp it, tells you very specifically what's going on. They used 2 in Ragosa, and then they used 1 out in Hawks Ridge, which is up away from, in a higher end part of this subdivision. So again, just to give you an idea. And I was confused because I looked, and within the last 18 months, there are 8 comps all within this Little Leaf area. So I was confused as to why those 8 comps weren't used. But when I looked at the data stated that even the worst case, which is in a higher end area of Hawks Ridge, in their adjusted sales that they adjusted to today's date, it was at $217 per square foot. And I thought, well, I surely can't be above that. I mean, I'm not in that high end of an area. And so I was confused how it got started at 228, even coming down to 218. I'm above my area, which is not sold above 200, even adjusted. So I simply took their comps, and if you look at their 5 comps, or I'm sorry, their 6 comps, in the adjusted sales price, hang on here, I'll pull up the sheet. In the adjusted sales price for the 3 in the villas for Little Leaf, they listed from $158 to $202 a square foot. The 2 on Ragosa were at $202 and $189. Again, the 1 in the Hawks Ridge, which I think is outside my area because it's a much nicer area of Rose Creek, was at $216. So if I threw out the the 1 that is at the higher end and just average the others, you get $188, $189, which is what I then asked for an appraisal. In addition, I went back and just some supplemental information that I believe you have, and I took the 8 just in Little Leaf. I used their formulas then to bring them to current day value, and then did the same thing and averaged their square footage cost, and I got exactly the same number, 189, 188.
So what is your square footage?
2758.
Okay, that's what it says. All right, go ahead.
And so you take that times that value of 189, and that's why I'm asking for I have to look here, I'm sorry, 533, I think.
Yes,
533, 197. So again, it was just a reasonableness number. they certainly appraised properly and taking properties and trying to plus or minus them, but after they did that, I thought, I would have liked for them to have looked and said, is that a reasonable number against current value square footage? Because everything in Rose Creek really is bought on the square footage. They're all custom homes, no two alike. And so you do have to, I mean, the plus or minus is a proper method, but again, I would look back and say there maybe was some fault in that plus or minuses. And again, I only base that on just looking at the square footage then of current data.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but in my experience, using square footage only in a house, particularly, you know, a house that's got little age on it, is only part of the equation.
I would agree.
It all depends on location, and what it appears to be on the outside and the inside.
So location in my case, I am considered to be on the golf course. I'm away from it a little, but I'm considered to be, again, looking at, there were 4 comps available. They only used, I think, one of them that were also on my road. They're on that same golf course hole, same thing. So I thought, well, at least from a location value, I could say that shouldn't have changed. And then I looked at my house, again, I know the homes, I've been in all of them. And my house is nothing spectacular. We didn't build it to be that way. If you bring up the view of my house, that picture of just the elevation. The elevation is nothing, I mean, I didn't do anything, again, to make this a spectacular house. If you look at some of the other elevations of the homes that they were comped with, do you have the other homes you can show?
I mean, we can just focus on yours. I don't need to necessarily go.
Okay, I did, he was asking for a comparison, and I was just showing, I think my house just kind of falls middle of the road. I think I'm better than a few that I've seen in my neighborhood. I think I'm less than a few that I've seen in my neighborhood.
What was your 22 valuation?
It was valued, it's in my notes.
519,500.
Okay.
And that's an interesting point. I've always thought it was that they were assessing me a little high, but I didn't let it, I let it go. I mean, obviously the 3%, it's not gonna change my taxes, you know, not at all. It just is a future issue. And so the 519 was close enough, I said, I'm just not gonna mess with it. But maybe I should have, because now it looks like when you look at the increase, I don't have near the increase everybody else does this year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
In other words, if you look and say, how much increase did you have? I think it was over-assessed to begin with. I just never simply put my hand up in the air and said it's an issue. This year, I finally said, I'm really out of whack. So I thought I probably ought to come down and try to do something. And I've never been through the process, so.
Okay.
So one of the things you talked about at first was some of these were outside your area. Anything on Little Leaf you would consider as a comp?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And there's only the one that's sort of an outlier in your mind out of the 6.
The 6 that they used, the Little Leaf, or the Hawks Ridge is certainly the outlier.
Okay.
The others are certainly within guidance.
Okay. And then I come down and I look at the adjusted sales per square footage. Yours is listed at 198 by the assessor. As we go through here, comparables 203, 192, 185, 202, 217, which would be the Hawks.
Wait a minute, where did you see 199 by me? Tell me that again.
198.
It's on the assessor's
But
spreadsheet.
That's on the comparable, not on mine. They don't list that on my comparable.
It says subject property.
Yeah. First column is always the
I
same.
don't know, but where do you see the adjusted sales value for,
It's about 2/3 of the way down,
okay,
198.
I'm sorry,
Can you pull this up on the screen?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go into another program to do
Okay.
that. My apologies.
Well, anyway, while he's doing that, as we look at these across, these ones that are comparables, as I said, 203, 192, 185, 202, I'll throw out the 217, and then 189. So it appears, at least on a square footage basis, that you would be comparable to those.
I need to see what numbers
Yeah.
you're looking at, I'm confused. I simply took the adjusted sales price that he listed to me and divided that by the square footage and got the numbers I got.
Did you figure in the value of your property too, the land? Sometimes that you don't do that. 'Cause
Well,
that has a
they
broken out
don't indicate here
sometimes.
that land was any different, and actually, I got the smallest lot in the area, or one of the smallest. See, I don't,
Yours didn't have, ours does.
I don't have that document in this.
Okay.
so I show it at 218. Don't you show my value assessed at $630,000?
Well, that was the appeal value. Now we lowered it.
I'm sorry, even the 603. Do you show the 603?
No, 406. It went from 630 down to 600,400.
Okay, and if we take 600 divided by 2758, what do you get? Did I do something wrong there? 600, 400 divided by 2758 gives me $218 a square foot. Is that what you?
Okay. I'm just looking at these it's adjusted sales price.
Yes.
Okay.
I heard you say 199. I don't get 199.
It's adjusted.
Agreed.
It didn't, you're correct on your mathematical calculation,
Mhm.
that he adjusted it down.
And this is so they can compare to other properties. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we try to get other properties that we use in our comps. We do every kind of adjustment possible to get it just like yours.
Okay.
And when I look at those, the comps per square foot, if that's the way you like to, or that you're looking at it, they're very close. And yours is sort of in the.
But their final assessed value, I'm confused with the number you gave
Yeah.
me, because their final assessed value to me is 600,400, which would be 218. And so I don't know,
Okay, so make the calculation of 630.
so 630,000 divided by 2758, I'm sorry, 2758, gives $228 a
That's how
square
you
foot.
did that, and then you went down to 218.
Then I went down to 218, and I'm just, okay. I'm just only taking their adjusted sales price. Would that not be right from the
Yeah.
assessors? Should I not take the adjusted sales
Or
price?
did you take 189, did you get to the 533,197 by taking 2758 multiplied by 189?
Yes, ma'am.
That's how you got it,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I'm looking at your other actual document where it's 237, 39, 237, and then 209. Okay.
So,
I know where I'm at now.
are you agree? I mean,
Yeah, I'm looking at the comps. There's just multiple calculations on square foot depending on,
again,
where
you
you're at.
asked the question, I'm sorry, I don't know your names here on the board, but you
Oh,
asked
Ms.
the
Thompson.
question. Ms. Thompson and
Crawley.
Crawley.
Crawley. You had made the comment, and you're right, it's all about location, and it's certainly about differences in the property then. And again, I would, knowing the properties, I would say I'm in the middle of the road for people that have better than me and have less than me in that area. From a location, I have as good a location as anybody, quite frankly, but there are 4 comps that show that they are in that same 191 range.
Are they on the golf course?
They are.
Um,
That's why. I'm saying 4 of those 8 that I used are directly on the golf course. 2 of them on a different hole, or 2 more above that 4 on a different hole, and 2 are not on the course at all. So, and I think the course certainly requires additional value, but I had used comps. Again, in conclusion, I used the appraiser's formula for trying to take property within the last 18 months and move it forward to today's value. I think you used a 4% increase in value through that period of time, per year. And I, actually, over a several year period, but anyway, I used that same formula, brought those other properties forward, did the division by their square footage, which is available. That's the only information I would have. And came to a very averaged conclusion to exactly the same information that they had presented, except for that one that's out of whack, the Hawks Ridge, and came to that same $189 square foot. So if you were to think that I was at the upper end, I would think that if you go above 200, you're overvaluing anything in my area. Nothing is sold for above that, even in the last 6 months. If you're gonna put
Per
it at the
square
low,
foot.
per square foot, if you're gonna put it on low end value, I don't think anything in my area is currently worth less than about $175 a square foot. Again, I think I'm middle range. That's why I had indicated 189. But you could reasonably take anything from 175 to 200, and it would, you could argue that case. I'm just arguing middle of the road.
Okay. You got anything else?
I do not.
All right.
Does that make sense? Is there anything else for me?
Well, no, you can respond to the assessors. We're going to hear from him now.
Sure.
Okay?
So yeah, we ran comps, and then we also looked at some comps that he provided, and we wanted to kind of, compare the two. And we made our adjustments are far less than the comps that he provided. And you're talking about you're like way over $100,000 on several of his adjustments. And his are in the area that he lives in. We have to provide information that has the least amount of adjustments possible to arrive at that value. Now, we did think he was too high initially, so that's why we, based on the comparables that we ran, we went from 630 to 600,400. The average age of comps that we provided are 14.3 years old, and he is 11 years old.
You're going 14 benefits him, right?
Correct.
Because assuming 3 years out, it's going to be lower.
Perhaps, give or take.
Okay.
But yeah, and then, so we have him located in Rose Creek in an area called the Fairways. And here's his property right here, backed up to the golf course. And that's just totally the basis of it, that we support our value, but even by lowering it based on making very little adjustments or lesser adjustments compared to the, he provided 6 Little Leaf Lane addresses, and we're looking at some significant adjustments compared to what we've got, and just with what we have in adjustments, we come up with the better comps, even though these are properties that are still on the outside of his specific area, still within Rose Creek though. And I do get that Rose Creek has several different variations of houses, there's inequalities like that, but we got to go with what we find is very little adjustments compared to what he provided, and we support a value of where we're at, even lowering him some. So.
And your value is 630.
The original value is 630,000, and we lowered it to
600.
600,400.
Anything else?
No, sir.
May I respond?
Respond.
Can I go up to the map again?
Sure.
So again, just to indicate, probably to your point, my home's here, this home, this home, this home, this home, and this home. I've all sold. I used those comps. This all is part of this same golf course piece. So I was looking, because of location, to use those. There's another one
They sold when?
in the last, some of them in the last year, but within the last 18 months.
Okay.
All within the last 8. We had no sales in 10 years in this area, and then we kind of turned over the last year and a half. There was another sale here that I used, right here, that's on the course. That's actually a smaller home, because I wanted to look everything he used was larger. I used a smaller one just to see what it did look like. So that, just from a location viewpoint, using them outside the area, although the comp might have been closer in other things that they wanted to compare to, I think that's unreasonable in my subdivision to do so. We have multi-million-dollar homes up where Hawks Ridge is, and I think that's an improper comparison. So again, taking that one comp out of there, the rest of them would be fine. That's number one. And number two, again, I come back to, even with their re-evaluation of $600,000 at $218 a square foot, that's above the 200 max that my subdivision is sold in my area, in that area. And that's not what they sold for, but what they're worth today, because I increased the value to show. So I'm going, again, I don't see how you can reasonably come to a conclusion to value above 200. You can't go below 175. Something in between there is where I think I'm valued.
I just out of curiosity, you're not, most people who come in here assume that higher valuation equates to higher tax assessments.
I'm not doing it.
And so I'm just curious, why do you care?
That's a good question, because I've had other people ask, why would I go through it? I said, number one, I'd like to see what the process is for our government to assess value. And number two, it affects, if the property value just keeps, if we go into a deflationary period of time for whatever reason, and property goes back down, I won't see that. My property won't be, my property was assessed down a couple years ago, a little, when we had the, and I thought, well, that was nice, it's tracking properly, going down. I won't do that because they won't decrease it below this overly high value, and so my 3% will just continue to assess here. I don't plan on going anywhere, so I'm looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 years out, could be an effect to me. And so I thought, I really ought to try to core. It ought to be assessed properly, don't you think?
Well, we just set market value,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
To
And
what market value is.
Well, we think that among the three of us,
Right.
conclude is the market value of the home.
Right.
And I want you to know, by statute, we're required to accept the assessor's value unless sufficient evidence is presented to us to overcome that presumption, okay?
So she asked the question, why bother? Because it really won't affect my taxes at all. It was worth my time because I thought it ought to be right. I mean, I'm an engineer. I work with correct
I
information.
knew it. Knew
I
it.
work with information, so I see patterns, and I thought the pattern doesn't look
Call
right.
that.
You know, I get a lot of work that's turned into me, where I look at the man or the woman and I go, you got the wrong answer. And they go, how do you know that? And I said, I don't know what the right answer is,
Because
but I
engineers
know.
are always right.
No, but we think, good engineers think in ranges. The answer, I don't know the exact answer, but I know the answer ought to fit within here. It shouldn't be here and it shouldn't be here. And so when I don't see that, I go, something doesn't appear to be right. And so I thought, I want to.
So where'd you go? Did you go to OSU?
I did not. I'm from Indiana.
Oh. Did you go to in Bloomington?
I supported all three of my children to Bloomington, but they're not an engineering school. Indiana has two engineering schools. Purdue
Yeah.
is the one.
Boiler, are you the Boilermaker?
No, I'm a Rose Holman. Rose Holman is a private engineering school. It's the other
Yes.
engineering school we have in Terre Haute. Are you familiar with Indiana?
Well, my uncle only got 2 PhDs from Indiana,
Oh,
and my auntie got an SJD.
What type of engineer are you?
Electrical.
Yeah, I figured it.
So,
Yeah.
I still support IU.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I've got them winning in my pool, so. I heard you talking pool, so.
Okay.
I wear my red and everybody goes, OU? I said,
No,
no, IU.
no.
And they go, IU, what is IU?
Yeah.
Thank you for your consideration.
Sure.
Yeah, well, good
That was a good-
presentation. Do you have anything else you wanna?
I do not.
Okay. I think it was a good presentation you made. You looked like you did your homework, and we appreciate it.
I will look forward to in the mail. I heard you guys are gonna make a decision on Thursday.
Yeah,
so
yes.
that's fine by me.
You were listening.
Whatever you decide.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day. Anything else I need to do?
No, that's it, sir.
By the way, you are easy to work with.
Oh, well, thank you.
You are easy to work with. As a taxpayer and a part of the country, that's not always the case.
It's sometimes it can be difficult, but yeah, we'll get that letter to you hopefully by the latest Monday, but I'll also email you on Thursday, so you should know soon.
Sounds good, thank you.
Me too.
Okay, we'll close the hearing on BOE number 1. Open up hearing on BOE number 16. The owner is Jerry and Linda Cutter.
So they are still not here. I checked my email, didn't get anything from them. So that is Mr. Escobar, so he's next. So
Okay,
we should skip number 4.
we'll skip BOE number 16, which is number 4 on our docket, and we'll go straight to BOE number 15. The owner is Jesus Escobar at 1612 Southeast 61st Street.
Good morning.
You're Jesus?
I'm not a home builder, I'm not an engineer. So good morning.
Good morning.
I just have the simple numbers here that,
Okay,
I purchased this home on 6212. And it was fixing to go on an auction, little did we know. They said they just move in, it was all carpeted. And since then, it's been a catastrophe, to put it mildly.
Give me your purchase price and date.
It was 130. I believe I slept since then.
It's okay.
130,000.
130,000 in June of 2018.
Yes,
Oh, been a while.
2018.
Okay.
The simple numbers I have that my taxes have tripled since then, since 2018, and started getting ready to move in when we had the home inspected, and it was just superficial to the what we found shortly after all the deal was done. Since then, it's a 70-year-old house. The foundation has, I guess the best you can understand is it sort of caved in from the dining room to the back bedroom. All the furniture has, the doors come open to, just kind of get an idea, this is at home. The doors from the bedroom to the dining room over here, the span of approximately 35, 40 feet.
are you on top of a sinkhole?
The grade is going down, and since then I have tried to repair this, and I'm still in the process. It has really taken a toll on my life, and even on my marital life. My wife has, at this point, moved and bought another house because I'm grading the backyard. So I'm not a home builder, and I'm not wealthy. My house is in Homestead, and I've tried to. You have some information that I presented to you, some pictures of the French drain that we tried to, or that we created on the east side, that we had done on the east side of the home, so that it could alleviate that problem when I seen that the water was going under the house. And also, something that I didn't list was, I made right there, as you see, another drain that I didn't give you pictures of, but it's on the south side of the home, on the side of the home, so that the water can run to that bar ditch and it can go down as the grade is going down there. So I have also that, and I've tried putting gutters on the home, and as of right now, I did some repairs on the inside, painted the outside, but as of now, it's just a catastrophe, to put it mildly. Inside my home, I presented the pictures y'all have where the level initially, Mr. Chavaria, one of the gentlemen that worked for the, he did not believe me. I went and got a bid, which these guys just came, Russ, and gave me a bid. And they say that they can fix that, and upon it, if it does get fixed, it's gonna break my walls. So that's, after, everything that I've done, my taxes are already tripled. It has already taken a toll on my life. It's,
So when you said they could fix it, you mean hoist it?
try to level it.
Okay.
Try to level it. I think they're not seeing also, see in the living room, the pictures that I gave you in the levels was one in the bedroom, one in and like I say, all the furniture's laying this way, that way, even on pretty much the whole house. The span of the house. And they have already decreased the fair value. I do not discourage paying taxes, but at this time, it's just a catastrophe, what I'm dealing with. On and on, even the water out there, just recently, my wife, she just up and moved out. Said I can't take the dog to the backyard because of you grading. I said, well, I have to try to fix this problem. But even with the water, I have a $3,000 bill here where I had to go in there because the water is so hard. On top of all this, I had to put in new filters where I had already put some in when I moved in. They didn't have no filters. And here I had to go in and get some more filters. The water's so hard. So that's another $3,000 bill. But, you're just hearing my problems. But I think I believe that I'm on Homestead and the fair cash value, was at $83,000, and I understand that y'all try to raise the prices. There's what's around in the community. But, however, we don't get any services at all right there where I'm at. We're considered a community with a school around there. I don't have no kids. However,
What's the school?
I don't know.
Middale.
Some district 252
Here's your map.
district. However, our road does not get no repair. They come just right there on Voorhees and the entrance and fix the patch holes, and we've called and have called. And we don't get no services whatsoever.
Are you considered Oklahoma City?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that Valley Brook?
No, it's not Valley Brook.
No.
No.
It's just a little area where I guess that city comes in. You have Dale City, Midwest City.
Oh.
But I'm considered Oklahoma City.
Yeah, there's Tinker.
So initially, Mr. Chowrid did not believe I have a big problem on my hands, and upon trying to fix this, I can't even fix this right now. I'm trying to go in there and try to fix it myself after all these problems. It's going to break my walls. I'm just trying something, but I've done all this, and this is where I'm at. It's unjust, to I'm just asking that the fair cash value remain for right now, so that I can fix this problem. I'm looking also at at the future.
Are you talking about Permajack lifting your foundation?
I'm trying something, ma'am. I have it right
Well,
now.
I'm trying to figure out how your walls are going to get broken. That's why I'm asking. You're not. This is not putting tiers in.
No, because it's not brick.
Okay.
So they have to. He said that they're going to go in there, and right now I'm trying to do it myself. But after all the problems that I've had, because I don't want them to go in there and break my walls, which I think it's going to break them anyway, and I'm going to have to. But after all this that I've dealt with, this is what I'm looking at. So I would like to ask y'all to just be reasonable and the facts that I presented. And,
You're asking us to set the value at 240,000?
No, 153.
150, sir.
153.
And my taxes have already
150,000.
tripled since purchasing that house, so I think, and I'm looking again at my future, I'm on a homestead, I'm not trying to sell, I'm just trying to deal with my problems right now, which have already been,
How many years have you been in the house?
Five.
it seemed like I haven't been there
5
just
years?
dealing with
June of
problems.
18.
you know.
June of 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got,
You're asking 153 what?
it's at
150.
150,380, which was last year.
150,380.
Oh.
They,
153, okay.
And like I said, we're considered a community, but we don't get no services, even to the point that that road that comes in there, they don't even come in there and patch. And, I'm not discouraging paying taxes, I'm a working man, but at this time, I need something,
Well, one thing that you need to realize is we don't have anything to do with your taxes except for the value of the property. We don't, because the taxes can change. If Oklahoma City puts a tax on you,
I understand.
or the Middale Schools has a bond issue, that could raise it. But your valuation should only increase for taxes 3% a year. So
Yes, sir.
probably the most your taxes, if no one put an additional millage on you, would be 15%.
Well, then what we can say is that I tried to ask for the fair cash value to remain at 150,000. It won't affect me. At this point, I'm dealing with all these problems. I presented the facts.
Right. Okay.
And for y'all to empathize
Yeah,
at this time, please.
But I don't want you to think if the valuation is at 150 that your taxes will be unaffected.
Yes, yes.
I don't want you to think that, because there was a jail bond issue passed, and Middale is always doing something with schools, so
I understand.
I just don't make that assumption.
And so if I get affected by that, I understand.
Okay.
Right.
Like I'm saying, I'm just,
We got it.
my fair cash value, I would like for y'all to empathize and be reasonable on what I'm dealing with. Initially,
Sure.
they decreased it to 160 something.
164,500.
And Mr. Chavarria said, I don't believe you. I presented the pictures and he said, I'm giving you some facts. To the point I even presented where my wife moved out. She was just so disgusted with the whole matter.
Okay, what is it, let's hear from the assessor, and my first question's gonna be, what was his 2022
So
valuation?
he's at, real quick, his value for this year before we made any decision was 183,000. Last year he was on for 187,000. And this was an invalid arm's length transaction purchase back in 2018. It was a multiple property sale. And that's one of the factors that we include as being an invalid purchase. So there were a bunch of properties involved with the sale, which included this particular property that was bought in 18. And after there's already been some work that has been improved on the property. These are the only pictures that were provided to us. And Mr. Chavarria has stated that he had said that there's already been some work that's been done to kind of improve the chaos that's going on at his property, which is evident in these two pictures. This is in the front and this is in the back.
And that's right now. That's
Right.
right now what I'm dealing with, and I'm still have the problem in my home where
I see the tin horn
Yes.
and the water. Where does the water go from here? It looks like a dam on the other side.
Yes, and right now that since I cleaned it out, but the grass is gonna grow again, the water is gonna, when it rains, it's gonna fix that, and I'm gonna fix that. That was just, I was just trying to dig it out so that the water can run. The grass is gonna grow again. I'm
No,
just
he's
trying to-
asking when you get to the end of that, where does the water
Oh,
go?
it'll continue to go down. It's downhill.
Okay.
Yeah, but it has grass growing, so that's why it's holding up a little bit at this time.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say that based on what was presented to Mr. Chavarria during the informal, he did agree that there were some issues that require most homes that are in fine working order we put on at an average condition. We thought, okay, based on what is currently going on, we lowered the condition to fair because of what's going on, and because of the lowering of that, we were able to get down to a value of $164,500 while the house is not up to par. And we've activated a field check for us to eventually go back out there to check on the progress and to see how things are going at a later date. So we took everything into account, but Mr. Chavarria didn't see enough based on the pictures provided that would warrant anything more lower than what he was asking for. But
What about this business of the house sinking in the middle?
well, like I said, the only pictures that were provided, let me get there. This was the only picture that was provided showing.
Y'all received another one on the, for that I provided on the bedroom and the hallway. And,
We only considered what was presented at the informal hearing.
But the man went out there and looked. The assessor.
Oh, yeah.
For Garrity said to present some more info.
So, yeah, anything you give to me, I will give to them now.
So-
If it wasn't already presented to the assessor,
So
then, it won't be considered.
I
But
presented that beforehand so that y'all could have an idea,
Okay.
because that's why I'm contesting that. The decision is basically up to y'all, and have mentioned the problems that I'm going
Right.
through, and I am trying to repair that, as you've seen, and what I've in the pictures as well, also that where the French drain that this is all just taking time. I'm not wealthy
Sure.
to just go in there, and that was a gripe also. My wife said, but it's taking a toll, even on my marital status.
Yeah.
Sad to say.
2 years ago, the valuation was at 180, and we've been lower.
2022, at January 1st of 2022, the value was at 187,000.
Okay.
So it went down this year by $4,000 initially for the new value.
What was the 183,000? What was that figure?
That the 183 is this year's value
Initially.
before the value was adjusted in our office.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
So-
Down to 164.5.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
187 to
164,500.
164.
Yep.
But my question is, the taxpayer is saying his house is sinking in the middle.
Right.
Do
All right.
you have any?
And let me clarify.
Wait,
Wait a minute, I'll go and deal with one at a time. Do you have any reason to disbelieve what he's saying, or do you have any evidence to the contrary?
The only evidence is what was presented to us at the informal. Mr. Chavarria believed that, now we're not discounting anything that he is saying. We do believe that there are some issues with the home, which is why we adjusted the condition, which gives him a little bit of a decrease in,
Down to 164.
yes, based on the calculations that we did, lowering it a little bit on condition gives it that new value. And Mr. Chavarria believes that there was nothing more based on what he was saying that warranted to go down even further.
Well,
Okay.
did the 164 lowering occur after the informal?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
He's still,
Or during, I'm sorry,
he's
during,
still asking for it to be down to 150.
well, what I'm trying to figure out is, he's acting like the assessor didn't believe him, and I'm trying to understand the assessor went out and looked and then made the adjustment down to
No,
160?
I'm sorry, no. The pictures
Okay.
were provided, that he provided, the ones that I showed you right here. He provided these, and we looked at the situation based on looking at aerials and
I see.
looking at the information provided us and what he told us based on a report that, okay, we're gonna make that adjustment right now based on in the informal that he
But
provided.
the adjustment took into account what he was saying was happening to the floors and the sinking and all of that.
Yeah, we decided
I
that,
just-
yes, we decided to lower the condition based on that, but
Okay.
nothing more to get it down to what he's wanting.
Okay.
So it appears that
Well,
we're
it
being
sounds-
disputed. Okay.
It sounds to me like the house is going to be close to being condemned. If it's sinking in the middle, as he says, and the walls are coming in, that shows, I presume that's a wall, and it shows it's really out of,
You can turn the level, I don't know why you have it that way, you're not showing it correctly, but you're welcome to come and see that, that's what,
It should turn this way?
it should be turned around, there you go. And there was another one presented, to y'all in pictures that.
Yeah, so I've got some
supposed
color
to be
copies
presented
of them.
before.
So you should have black and white copies. Those are often hard to see just with our scanner. Here's the color copies. So again, I'm not sure what of that was presented to the assessor first, but that's what I received.
Yeah, they got it up there.
yeah, I mean, the wall, according to that,
That's a floor.
looks
Shot,
seriously
isn't it?
out of plumb.
That's a floor shot, isn't it?
Yes,
that's
yes,
not a
that's a
wall.
floor.
That's a
Yes,
floor.
that's a floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what it is, like I mentioned, to the length of the span, it's all in the, it's affecting, it's just all the,
Same difference. That's what's gonna make the walls.
Yeah, okay, that's gonna make the walls come in, I understand now that that's the floor, but that's not comforting, because it's way out of plumb. Anyway, you have anything else you wanna tell us?
No, I just wanted to ratify that. Like I said, we did lower it based on the typical condition we do for any normal working house is average. And we thought, okay, yeah, there is definitely some stuff going on to where that, okay, we need to lower it a little bit based on what he's going through. And we clearly saw that, but not enough to go down even further because he is living in the property. And we just thought that it was a reasonable, and we still got him down to much lesser than what the value is this year. And we're at 153.80, and we feel that's a reasonable amount to have him at right now.
Let me just ask, is this a sloping thing? Are you on the corner?
no ma'am. I'm in the middle, of the rest of the homes. You'd see the neighborhood there.
Is anybody else having this issue?
Um,
Is this a grading problem from one?
See the homes here, none of the homes here, they're all old.
No, I'm asking if the water issue is an issue.
Well, it affected me because of, they put like a,
Where's
some
your
cinder
house
blocks
in this
on the
picture?
east side.
In this picture, is your house there?
yes, the white one.
It's right there.
They tried to create if you see the left side is the east, they try to create a retaining wall and
Now, real quick, I just want to say, I wanted to get you on the street view so you can look at it, but this is an April 2019 image.
That is on a corner, isn't it?
no way.
No, ma'am.
What is that? Okay,
Now the street does end over here.
where is his, on that view, where is his house?
Right
Oh,
here.
I see.
Yes, ma'am.
So that road, what, see where that utility pole is?
Right here.
Yeah.
I think it's a driveway.
Is that a driveway for the neighbor? Oh, I see. Okay. That's a strange easement.
Yes,
That's a-
and
that's a
they try to
utility
create,
easement.
and I didn't know,
That's
as
bizarre.
we didn't examine everything
That's why I kept asking if it was a
accurately.
corner.
They try to create like a retaining wall, they put some cinder blocks on the east side, which is what's affecting me, the water.
The city did?
No, someone, either the neighbor or the previous owner
Oh.
tried to, but it's just a little cinder block, retaining wall, and, you know, with like, mentioned it's inhabitable, it's habitable now, but yeah, my wife is already, you know, it's took a toll to where she's already moved out, you know, can't go out there, you got a mess going, and everything is affected us.
We got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we understand what you're saying.
So I'm saying, just for right now, I would, you know, like for y'all to be considerate and, you know, listen to what, you know, and you're welcome to go and see, you know, my problem inside the house. I've
And you're
never,
asking for $150,380.
yes, I'm not going nowhere in the
Okay.
future, whatever happens, you know, right now, I'm telling you the problems that I'm having.
Okay,
And that's-
Okay.
That's all I have.
I understand.
I'm good.
I'm surprised the city finds out about this, they may come in and condemn your house, because the walls are coming.
I'm trying to repair it now.
Okay, all right,
In one
Anything
way,
else?
shape, or form,
Okay.
or something, I'm trying to repair it.
all right, we
Okay.
understand,
Nothing more from me.
okay.
You'll get a letter from us either Saturday or Monday.
Thank you so much for hearing me
Sure.
out.
Okay. Close the hearing on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna close the hearing on BOE number 15. Jose Escobar property, and then I'll open up the hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have any.
Yep, you're
Okay.
good. We'll email you Thursday.
It's public comment.
All right,
Any public comment?
any citizen out here?
So I did get an email from Rick Lloyd, the first guy who spoke.
Surprised.
He wanted me to let you all know, the assessor's, quote, the assessor's adjusted value went up 45% year over year on comparable ones, January 1st, 2022 sales price on 23020 Lauren Lane, not 30%, which was discussed in the meeting. End quote.
Okay.
He wanted me to let you know that.
Okay, that's a real estate guy.
Yes.
Okay. I see no citizens. Anything from the board?
Nothing further for me.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to
We'll
adjourn.
be here Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You are adjourned.
Somebody told me, "Do you wanna-"
Oh, sorry. Is that all right?
Don't show, don't put pictures like that on.